Ugh. Hello. Oh, that's moving. Okay, cool. Hi, hello, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. I thought that it would be really cute in honor of spring to film a video outdoors. I thought it would be very cute and very sweet and just a nice video. And then I remembered that I have an aversion to anything sunny and joyous. Hi, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? So many things could go wrong with this video. Things could bite me. It's kind of cloudy, so the lighting is going to change. I also can't see anything because my eyes are super sensitive to any kind of light. So I'm sorry that I'm kind of just going to be squinting through this whole entire video. Probably the biggest drawback from this idea is that I'm outside, which means that I'm running the risk of encountering people. It's officially spring and I'm fucking blind. I thought it would be cute to film a spring book recommendations video outdoors amongst flowers and greenery. I'm regretting a lot of life choices right now, but we've come this far, so let's do it. In this video, I'm going to just sit down and chat. I'm going to do my best, but I get easily distracted by things, so I might find it a little bit difficult to concentrate on these recommendations. But here we are. I've picked out a couple of books that I would recommend that I think are good for this kind of time of the year. I've picked books from kind of all different genres, so there's a little bit of everything for everyone. Let's jump in with, I think, probably the most obvious genre for this time of year, and that is romance. Very easy kind of cop out, so we're going to start with that one. But romance is just kind of the perfect thing for spring because this time of year, it just, for normal people that is, not for me, but for normal people, you're kind of getting over your seasonal depression. Everything feels hopeful and happy and sunny and just joyous, and there's a window right there. It's just a really nice time of the year where people kind of feel re-energized and excited, and for those who like summer, it's on the way. I hate summer. Romance is light and it's wholesome and funny and sweet. I'm going to recommend an author, and that is Emily Henry. If you have not jumped on the Emily Henry bandwagon by now, you're really missing out. I think I've read all of the Emily Henry books that are currently out and available. I'm currently reading Booklovers, which is her most recent release, and so far I would say, even though I haven't finished Booklovers, it's probably, this is how I would rank it. I think I would probably put in first place Booklovers, second place People We Meet on Vacation, which I think is also called You and I on Vacation, and then in third place I would put Beach Read. She has kind of become an automatic buy, just one of those authors that the minute you see her you're like, yes, I'm gonna pick that up because I know that I can go through them basically in one sitting. They're super fun. Booklovers takes place during the summer, so obviously for my summer lovers who are excited in spring because it means that summer is just around the corner, I feel like this is just a good one to kind of get you in the mood and get you excited. And the book takes place in the countryside in, what's it called, Sunshine Falls or something, just like a happy place. It's this small town, a lot of descriptions of kind of flowers and the humidity and the heat and like little streams and forests. In my mind, it's really giving me a lot of imagery of these big meadows with wildflowers. And another thing that I'm really loving about Booklovers, and I could be being a dunce here, maybe this is done on purpose, I don't know, it's really giving me Pride and Prejudice vibes, and Austen is mentioned a couple of times in this book, so maybe it's like totally done on purpose and it's supposed to be really obvious and I'm just an idiot. That's totally possible. Charlie is kind of, I guess, supposed to be Darcy-esque. I think it's also giving me Pride and Prejudice vibes because her sister's called Libby. Maybe like this is supposed to be super obvious. So that was my first recommendation. I've got that out of the way. Romance, the most obvious recommendation kind of genre thing, and for that genre I would pick this one. This is the one that I would recommend. Yes, the next book on my list is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. Can't believe that I love this book as much as I did, because it's not the kind of thing that I would usually pick up, but Jack Edwards convinced me that I was going to love it, and I am really surprised by how emotionally attached I am to a robot. Clara, who is this AI, is obsessed with the sun, and so the sun is brought up a lot, and obviously spring kind of equals more sunny weather. I'm not one for big life questions that are posed within books, especially not if they involve artificial intelligence and what the near future might look like. Was completely charmed by Clara, the main character. One thing that I was left with when I finished this book was how cinematic it was, and I remember that I was left with these really simplistic images, but they just stayed with me long after I finished the book, and those are kind of the images that I think make it perfect for spring. I remember lots of descriptions of the sun, but also Clara kind of moves to this family home that is a little bit closer to the countryside. I just remember descriptions of fields. I think with this book it could almost be a kid's book if it wasn't for this kind of dark element. And I wouldn't say it's like this big plot twist or anything, so don't read this thinking it's going to be like a thriller. And yeah, I thought it was incredible, and once again I was so surprised by how emotionally connected I was going to feel towards a robot, a literal robot. I'm sorry if you can hear that plane going by. Another recommendation, like another author that I thought would be really, really good for spring is Taylor Jenkins Reid. Another author that has gotten so much hype recently, and it's very much deserved. All of her books, I think, work well for spring. The one I'm going to recommend is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This one's been everywhere. It's her most popular book, and so of course I'm recommending it. It's kind of an easy one to recommend. It's one of my all-time favorite books, and it was once again a book that I really wasn't expecting to love as much as I did. This one is about, it's a fiction. It's historic, what is it? I think the genre is probably like historic drama fiction. It's about this Hollywood starlet called Evelyn Hugo. We meet Evelyn as she's a little bit older, and she's giving an interview to this kind of young journalist, and she's accepted to kind of give an interview. I think she pretends that she's going to be giving this interview to do with, like, she's doing like this charity gala thing, and she's selling a bunch of her most iconic dresses, but it turns out that what she actually wants to do is it write a book? I can't remember. I think she's writing a book about her life, and it's this very exclusive interview. We go through her life, and it talks about her different marriages to all of these men, but it also talks about her love for the one person that she was never really allowed to love. I know, it's so cute. Really beautiful. I thought the story was beautiful. I was so emotionally connected. I loved Evelyn, and I felt so hard for her. I felt a lot for her. I cried at the end of the book. There was also a twist that I was not expecting. I wasn't expecting it because I wasn't, you know, I'm reading like a historical drama. I was not expecting there to be a twist, but there is, and I definitely didn't see it coming. It explores so many different kind of topics. It goes through racism and misogyny and sexism and homophobia, and there are a lot of difficult passages. You know, there's domestic violence, so maybe look at the trigger warnings. Highly recommend. One of my all-time favorite books. Next one. I feel like spring is a good time for memoirs, so I've picked 2 memoirs that I personally really love, but I would recommend just any memoir in general. I don't know why, I just think that spring is a good time for a memoir. 2 memoirs that I really loved. The first one is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. I read this a couple of years ago. I was already familiar with who Maya Angelou was, and I kind of knew, oh, I don't have any battery. Right, interesting. I knew a little bit about her life. I knew certain elements that are brought up in this particular book. I will admit I didn't find it easy to read the whole way through. I switched over to an audiobook when that happened, and then having Maya Angelou herself tell you her life story with this extremely cradling, brilliant voice was just a whole other experience. It's a very moving book that discusses kind of the racial and social injustices at the time that are still very much relevant today. I wanted to quickly mention, I've already talked about this book in depth. That is I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy, another book that has been all over the internet, and so many people have been recommending it left and right, and there's good reason to, because it was so incredible. Jeanette McCurdy was a famous, or is a famous, child actor. She was a Nickelodeon star. I personally didn't watch Nickelodeon, but that didn't stop me from enjoying this immensely. And it's about her toxic relationship with her mother. It's about the dangers of child stardom. It's about abuse. It's about a lot of things. Yeah, just Jeanette McCurdy's incredibly talented and incredible. So those are two that I would recommend personally. I also think that spring is a good time for some Greek mythology. If you really enjoy Greek mythology, then you will have been having the time of your life recently, because a lot of retellings have come out. I recently read Natalie Haynes', what's it called? Stoneblind, which was a Greek mythology retelling of Medusa. So there's that one that you could go give a try. The one that I'm going to recommend is Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Beautiful, heartbreaking. So I think I would recommend that one. A Thousand Ships, that's my all-time favourite by Natalie Haynes. So those are a few that you can go give a quick look at. I don't know why, I just feel like this is a good book for spring, and that is The Death of Vivek Oji by Akweke Emezi. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. I really should have looked it up before including it. I personally still can't quite decide how I feel about this book. I know I'm recommending it, and the reason I'm recommending it is because I think there's so many people out there will love it, and it's a really good recommendation for spring. On the one hand, it's beautifully written, it's heartbreaking. I think the messages are super important. I recognise that it's an incredible and important piece of work. I think the reason I personally didn't enjoy this one as much was because I feel that we didn't get enough of the most complex character, which was Vivek. The reason though I think that this would be perfect for spring is because of its beautiful imagery, and it's got incredible prose and this stunning portrayal of grief. It was really difficult to put down, and it was never far from my side, and I would recommend this to people who enjoy character studies and character focused books. Lovely jubbly. I also think that spring is the perfect time for some good old classics. So I don't know why. Again, these are completely biased towards me, are completely subjective. So I don't know if this is very helpful, but yeah, I think spring is a really good time to read some classics. I personally wanted to recommend, there are so many that I could recommend that are good, but I feel like a really, really good one to pick up in spring is Pride and Prejudice. Pride and Prejudice is my second favourite Jane Austen. The first one is Emma. Also incredible, also a really good one for spring, but Pride and Prejudice kind of just wins this round. I think maybe it's the meadows. Maybe it's the meadows. It's the meadows. I'm picturing Darcy walking through the meadows, and it's giving me spring, okay? So yeah, another perfect one to kind of read around this time. It's just, again, it's the good feels. I really love Pride and Prejudice, and I know that my cousin Abby also really loves it, so she'll understand, she'll get me. My last very quick mention would be comfort reads. For me, 2 comfort reads. One really obvious one, because again it's been talked about so much recently, is Legends and Lattes. This has gotten so much attention because it is just the symbol for cozy fantasy. It is about this orc who has retired. She used to kind of work as a hired assassin. She buys this old, abandoned, decrepit place. You are being so noisy right now. And do it up and make it into a coffee shop. And there is no reason for this book to be a fantasy. It could just be a normal book. It could just take place in our world. There's no reason for there to be a fantasy element to it, if that makes sense. But there is, and it is addictive, and it's very mundane. It's just about like these daily little tasks, and they create the menu. She makes new friends who help her kind of realize her dream, and they just add things to the menu, and they like try to figure out how to price ice. But it's super, super sweet. There is an overarching kind of plot to follow, and really, really lovely. The other one would be The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, one of my all-time favorite comfort reads. I've read it twice now, and I think I probably will reread it again. So yeah, those would be my spring comfort read recommendations. I'm gonna wrap this up now because I'm freaking blind. I can't see anything anymore. I'm like, you know when you've been sitting in the sun and it's been like direct sunlight into your eyeballs, and so everything just kind of goes grey after a while? Anyway, so I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed this video and that maybe you found your next read and it inspires you to pick up a book for spring and just gets you into the spring mood. I hope you're all well. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Let me know what you're reading. Leave a comment, and I will see you very, very soon. Hopefully, if I regain my eyesight. Bye! See you soon! You know what? It's kind of hot. Oh, a ladybug! Oh, and she's flying away. Just leaving me, just like everyone does. Time. This is, why did I do this to myself? Oh, why? Oof, we can do this, Luca. I feel like my makeup is probably going everywhere because I'm having to squint. You know what? I actually should have put SPF on. I'm definitely gonna burn. Damn it. Hello? Hello. Hi. Oh my god, you answered. Oh no. Oh, that was so embarrassing. I don't think he could hear me because he had his earplugs in. That was embarrassing. That was so embarrassing. He was really sweet though. He just smiled at me. Moving past that embarrassing moment, so I was saying, oh great, we get music. Lovely. What's that? Imagine Dragons? Alright, okay, I see you. However, oh no, there's an old lady heading my way. Hi. Hiya. I'm just a weird creep sitting in a field, talking to a camera. Don't mind me. For the 5th time.